Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about Ahimsa, which is the first of the Yamas, which is the first of the 8 limbs of yoga. And this principle is all about practicing non-violence with our thoughts, our words, our actions, and in turn practicing loving kindness and compassion towards ourselves and others. So we're going to talk about why this principle really is like the foundation of the yoga practice, why it's so important to practice in our lives, and how you can do it and the benefits that it's going to give you in your life when you practice this principle. Before we dive in, please remember to hit that like button. It really helps me out, and click subscribe so you get notified every time I post a new video. Okay, so first let's dive in by talking about what Ahimsa is. I already kind of explained it, but Ahimsa means non-violence or non-harming. So when we think of this principle, it's not just about outright violence, like physical violence that we might think of automatically. It's about being violent in our thoughts, which we have control over, okay? We get to decide which thoughts we continue to allow to repeat in our minds. It's also about if we're being violent in our words and in our actions. And I think those last two are a little bit more obvious, right? We know if we're being violent with our words by if we are outright being mean or unkind or uncompassionate to someone else. But we can also be unkind in our words and violent in our words when we are doing things like gossiping or talking about someone behind their back. With our actions, we can be violent, not in just the way we obviously think about, which is like violently harming someone, like punching them or kicking them or causing them bodily harm, but we can also be violent towards the earth when we litter, or we can be violent towards someone else if we do something deceitful behind their back. So those are other ways that we can be physically violent towards other people. We can also be violent towards ourselves in our thoughts, right? The way that we talk to ourselves. If we have a mean inner dialogue, we can also be mean to ourselves with our words. We actually say out loud mean and unkind and violent things to ourselves. And we can be violent towards ourselves physically by causing ourselves actual physical bodily harm, or by doing things with our body, taking action that is going to cause us harm mentally, physically, emotionally, etc. So this principle is so important because if we can practice non-violence and in turn loving kindness and compassion towards ourselves, first and foremost, it's going to be easier to practice that towards others, right? When we are feeling good, when we are in balance, when we are feeling empowered, it's a lot easier to be kind to other people. It's a lot easier to be patient with other people. So I always love to talk about how we can first and foremost practice this towards ourselves. Of course, we want to at the same time practice it towards others. But if we give that to ourselves, it's going to come more naturally to give it to others. So there's 4 steps to Ahimsa that we can take. The first is to find your courage. Practice being courageous, even in the tiniest of ways. When we practice being courageous, again, even in the tiniest of ways, it builds our confidence. With each courageous action step that we take, we feel more empowered, more confident, more able to take control of our lives and create the life that we want. The second step is to find more balance. When we are out of balance, when we are burnt out, we tend to be cranky. We tend to be impatient. We might be really tired physically, mentally, emotionally. So when we're out of balance, we're short with ourselves and we're short with others. So practice finding balance in your life. And that can look like so many different ways. I think it's important to note that we're not always going to feel 100% in balance all of the time. That's not the point of this. The point is just to find more balance in your life so you feel more nurtured, more taken care of, more rested, and in turn, that kindness to yourself is going to help you to be kinder to others. So I want you to just pinpoint the area of your life just one area of your life where you feel the most out of balance and tackle that area first, right? If you feel like you're overworking, how can you set boundaries with work so that there's more space for you to actually maybe go to the gym or eat healthy food, right? If you're really out of balance in your body, how can you create structures to bring more balance to your body? Maybe you make sure that you join a meal service, or you join a gym, or you go to a yoga class every week. You don't have to do anything big. Just pinpoint that one area of your life where you feel the most out of balance and pick 1 to 3 things that you can focus on to come into more balance in that area. And I guarantee you, you're gonna feel so much better, and in turn, so much more kind and patient and compassionate. Step 3 is to deal with powerlessness. Notice where you feel powerless in your life. Powerlessness makes us feel really negative. That might in turn come with negative self-talk. It might in turn come with us being judgmental or rude to other people, right? Hurt people. So if we're not in our power, we're gonna notice that we are a lot more violent, maybe in our thoughts, words, and actions. So there's 4 ways that we can deal with this powerlessness. 1 is to practice gratitude. Write a gratitude list every morning or every night, or at least take a moment to just list off what you are grateful for in your head once a day. Tapping into gratitude, remembering what you do have, and feeling appreciative of everything that supports you, even the tiniest things like food and water, shelter, even those basic needs, right? Finding gratitude for those things is going to help you to feel in a higher vibration. It's going to help you to feel more empowered. It's going to help you to be in a state of abundance versus a state of lack and scarcity. The second step to dealing with powerlessness is to practice trust, trusting in the moment, trusting in your divine plan. A lot of times when we feel powerless, we might find that we are comparing ourselves to others. And as my husband always likes to say, comparison is the thief of joy. And it truly is. The more we compare ourselves to others, the more we see what other people have and wish that we had that right now, the more powerless we're gonna feel, the more in victim mode we're going to feel. So practice trusting in divine timing. Be present with where you're at right now and trust and know that everything you desire is going to happen for you if it's meant to in the right time. And if it doesn't happen, it's because there's something better for you, something more aligned with your authentic path, something more fulfilling that's going to come in place of whatever that is. So trust in the moment. Trust that what is meant for you will come to you in divine timing. Step 3 for dealing with powerlessness is to think about other people, right? Stop being so self-absorbed. I know that sounds mean, but we can all be so self-absorbed, right? We're all pretty self-absorbed. We all live in this little universe that is our life. And when we focus so much on me, what I want, what I need, what I'm calling in, it can end up leading us into this kind of vicious cycle of being a me monster, right? So if you're feeling powerless, if your life isn't panning out the way that you want it to, maybe take a step back and focus on someone else. Find a charity that really lights you up. Find a cause that really lights you up to give back in whatever way is the best way for you, right? Everyone has different gifts, and there's specific ways that we can all give back that help us to feel fulfilled while helping others. I have a good friend of mine owns this company called The Good Club, and I will link it in the description below, but she actually helps to line you up with a charity and a way of giving back to that charity that is in alignment for you. So go ahead and check it out if you're interested. And it doesn't have to be a charity, right? It can be literally just doing something small for someone that you love or someone that you know could use it. It doesn't have to be anything big, but if you're feeling powerless, take a step back from yourself and focus on others. And then the last step, step number 4, is shift your perspective. When we're feeling powerless, again, a lot of times we're in victim mode. We're in that glass half empty mode. And it's okay if you find yourself there. Remember, Ahimsa is all about giving yourself compassion, just like you would a friend or a loved one. So it's not about feeling shameful or bad that we're in that state. We all get there. It's just about recognizing and having that awareness that that's where you're at, giving yourself compassion, giving yourself love, and then deciding to flip your perspective. As hard as it can be sometimes, it truly is a choice to see the glass half full versus half empty. Okay, and then the 4th step to Ahimsa is to practice self-love and compassion, just like we talked about before. So remember, the opposite of violence is love. It is compassion, right? So we want to always try to come back to that. Just like I mentioned before, if you notice that you are being violent in your thoughts, words, and actions, it's not that you need to feel shame or guilt, although those are emotions that aren't bad, right? No emotion is bad. If we feel shame, if we feel guilt, and there's a reason for it, that's okay. What we don't want to do is hold on to it. If we did something that's unkind or harmful to someone else, it's good to feel that guilt for a moment, right? Because we don't want to repeat that. But we see that guilt and then we give ourselves love, we give ourselves compassion, and we move forward and we try to be better. We do better. Be patient with yourself, be loving with yourself, accept yourself for who you are, your struggles, your strengths, and give yourself love and compassion, and then give all of those things to others too. If you find that you slip up on it, it's okay. You're human. We're all human. We all do it. But take a breath, cultivate that awareness, and then come back to living with love, living with kindness, and living with compassion. All right, you guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for tuning in. Make sure, again, to hit that like button, click subscribe, and tune in next week for a new video. Namaste.